Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Divedi and today we are going to discuss about the creamy layers of other backward caste or classes. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS mains papers. Let's begin with the topics first. And these will be the topics that we are going to discuss step by step, starting with the news. So, the Supreme Court has passed a verdict quashing the notification of 2016 and 18 respectively by the Haryana government under the Haryana Backward Classes Act of 2016, in which they subcategorized the OBC creamy layer solely on the basis of income. So, the Supreme Court has recently said that not on the basis of income, but also on the basis of social advancement as well as representation in the government fields, these should also be considered while considering any particular section of the OBC as a creamy or non-creamy layer. So we will discuss all about in detail and let's move forward. First, we need to understand what is the difference between caste and class. See, caste is the concept which is very intrinsic to India. It originated in India. And classes, this concept of classes originated in the Europe. And there is no dynamic factor about the caste. Caste remains static throughout the life. And that is why there is no vertical mobility. A person can move from the lower to middle to higher class, but not caste. That is very rare now. So let's move forward and talk about the background. So Mandal Commission, the second backward caste commission, classes commission, was formulated in order to have a proper targeted approach towards the towards the OBCs and give them a reservation. So there was a reservation of 27%. Which was put forward in the judgment by the Mandal Commission. And this was challenged in the Indra Sawhney case. But the court, the Supreme Court, it upheld the 27% of reservation. But there should also, according to this case, there was also an exclusion of the creamy layer within the OBCs. And after that, under the chairmanship of Justice R.N. Prasad, a particular committee was formed in order to suggest what should be criteria to decide which persons should be creamy layer or non-creamy layer. And the Department of Personnel and Training, after that, they came out with a proper notification, and they came out, these notifications were based on the income, rank and status of people within the OBCs. For those who do not work in the government sector, an income threshold of rupees 1 lakh in 1993. If any person who is not a government employee but earns beyond the limit of 1 lakh per annum, that person was considered to be in the creamy section, and the persons who didn't, who actually earned below this, now they were considered into the non-creamy section. So it was revised time and again, and in the year 2017, the recent one is 8 lakh per annum. Okay, keep that in mind. So for non-governmental employees, then comes the children of government employees. How will they be considered as non-creamy or creamy? So first thing that we need to understand here is, if I am a child of a government employee, okay, so the criteria for me to be a creamy or non-creamy layer person would not be on the basis of my parents' income, but the rank they hold. So supposedly, if we talk about a child of a government employee, certain things have to be kept in mind. First, that if a child whose both parents hold constitutional posts, the child is not considered to be a non-creamy layer person. Again, if either of the parent of the child is serving in the Group A services, or either parent of the child moved to the Group A services before the age of 40 years, and both of my parents are actually in the Group B services. Accordingly, if my parent, either of my parent holds a rank of colonel or above the rank of a colonel in Army, Navy or Air Force, then I am not a non-creamy layer person. I belong to the creamy layer. Okay, and there are many other criteria as well. So income from certain things that we need to pay attention over here is income from salary or agriculture land. It is not clubbed with the determination of the creamy layer. And in July 2020, the Parliament Committee on Welfare of OBCs, they said that we are trying to understand how we should revise the income criteria of OBCs, and we might also club the taxable salary but not the agriculture income. So the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, it forwarded the National Commission for Backward Classes a draft cabinet note which was based on the Department of Personnel and Training Secretary's BP Sharma's this committee's recommendation. And the review is still under consideration because the suggested threshold for income right now is 15 lakh per annum. But there is a consensus being done on rupees 12 lakh per annum. Plus, as I told you, that taxable salary is also now being taken into account, but not agriculture income. That is also pending. So it is still being reviewed. And suggestions, as I told you, 15 lakh per annum and 12 lakh per annum is being on the consensus, but the suggestion is that. One thing that we need to keep in mind here is the proper revision interval every year for income. Every time for income is 3 years. At every 3-year interval, we need to review and revise the income. But it is being done that the interval for revision is now larger than 3 years. That is also under consideration. So, according to Minister of State Jitendra Singh, in the Parliament, he did say that if we talk about the IAS and IPS, these services, approximately 63 aspirants were selected between 2015 and 2019, but they were denied any appointment because they belong to the creamy layer. So many revisions are to be made. Moving on, if we talk about this particular picture that you see here, first we need to understand what creamy layer is. Creamy layer means a threshold or categorization within the other backward castes and classes in order to consider them better off than other constituents of OBC. Here I am drawing this. This is entire OBC, okay, this box, and this is the threshold. If a person or a group of people are earning above 8 lakh, these are the creamy layers, okay, and the below them are the non-creamy layer. So this is based on the principle that creamy layers, they are in a better position to get more employment, and that is why they should not be given reservation. And the non-creamy layers are not at a very good position as compared to the constituents of OBC. That is why they should come forward to get the reservation. That should be that because they are more deserving as they are economically backward. So this is the entire issue. So the judgment right now has said that in spite of Section 5, Clause 2 of the 2016 Act of Haryana Backward Classes Act of 2016, here we are talking about, making it mandatory for identification and exclusion of creamy layer. The basis of exclusion of creamy layer cannot be solely based on the income, because according to the notification of 2016 and 18, the benefits of the reservation is going to the persons who have an income of less than 3 lakh per annum. So it should be 8 lakh per annum. And accordingly, again, there was a subcategorization in the 2018 notification that 3 lakh, apart from that, the benefits up to the income of 3 lakh per annum, the other reservation should go to the people. The remaining ones should be going to the people who earn up to 6 lakh, 3 to 6 lakh per annum. So it's because of that only the court has come up that no, you cannot do this. You cannot solely base your appointment or reservation on the income, but there should also be other criteria such as social advancement. Is this particular section of the OBC advanced or not in the social hierarchy, or otherwise as well? What is their representation in the government sphere? How employed they are? So the court has directed the state to issue fresh notification in 3 months, and it should not be in any violation of whatever judgment has been done in the Indra Sawhney case. And also, the court has not disturbed any appointments that have been done so far, according to those two notifications of 2016 and 18. Moving forward, if we talk about the census, there is of course a popular opinion about caste-based census. So census is very important, and it is a tabulation of the distribution of section in the entire population, because of which the government formulates policies. So census, if we talk about, from 1951 to 2011, scheduled caste and tribe census was there, the tabulation of data, but not the other backward castes. Till 1931, pre-independence era, if we talk about, there was a census for OBCs as well, caste-based census as well. But in the year 1941, it was dropped because of the amount that the government used to spend on census, and because England at that time was embroiled in the World War II. Also, there is no proper estimate for the population of OBCs, that is supposed to be a little over the half of the Indian populace. So, if we talk about 2011, socio-economic and caste census was conducted, and the government actually spent a huge amount on it. But the data was never shared. Why? Because there is a political implication of it. Many parties have ignored actually putting the data forward, because there is a subsection. If we start to give the data on every section, then those sections could be used for winning politics in short period. Some particular section can be taken into account, and some regional group leader can then rise and talk about the political implications, that we are so less in number and we are not getting this and that, so many implications. So because of that only, the government is a little scared right now. Moving on, if we talk about the benefits of socio-economic and caste census, it is very important, because then only the government will be able to know what policies should be formulated and which section is getting the benefits of reservation and which section is not. Because seldom it has occurred that more and more reservations are being cornered by those who have already been advanced socially. And this judgment will first, it has clarified the stand of providing the reservation on the basis of creamy and non-creamy layer. For the creamy and non-creamy layer, that should not be solely on the basis of economic advancement, but many other facets also. It will pave way for further judgments as well. It is much more clear now. And it will also fill the legislative gap. Whatever legislative gap is there with respect to OBCs, the judgments, of course, this is the work of the judiciary, the legislature and the executive, that is to complement and supplement each other. Moving on, if we talk about the challenges, first, we are actually encouraging dependence on reservation, because there is a lot of agrarian distress. OBCs, many section of the OBCs, such as Marathas as well, they depend a lot on the agricultural sector. As there is a lot of distress on the agricultural sector, they will of course want to move towards something more stable, and that is government jobs and institutions. So first challenge is that. Second, we don't need to ignore meritocracy, because in the long run, merit also gets to bear the brunt of reservation. Also, short-term political gains, as I've already discussed, the caste-based census, it has political implications as well. So something should be, something of that divisive in nature should be, of course, caste-based census should happen. But if political prudence is also going hand in hand with that, what is wrong with them, with that? No trickling down of benefits. What if a certain section of the population of OBCs get all the benefits and the certain other sections do not? We have to strike a balance between it. Also, if we talk about the way forward, first way forward, distribution in accordance to the necessities, of course, creamy and non-creamy layer advancement. The sole necessity of it is that we need to understand who are developed and who are underdeveloped or still developing. So we need to understand that how subjective it can be to know what is social advancement. What is social advancement? This is very subjective in nature, and it is very open to interpretation as well. And deployment of more constructive tools other than just reservation. We can also talk about providing opportunities in the startups, in the innovation, in the self-employment. so that the government does not get burdened. And meritocracy should be balanced with equity. Equity should of course be there, but meritocracy should not be ignored. Also mitigating the agrarian crises, as I already told you, startups and innovation, other kind of constructive tools rather than reservation. But also agrarian distress should be also taken care of, because if more population which is dependent on agriculture will get what they want through agriculture, they will not move towards any other place. Okay, let's move forward and talk about our means based question. All right, in the light of the recent judgment of Supreme Court with respect to creamy layer of OBC, analyze the importance of a suitable criteria other than the economic threshold for reservation. In 250 words you have to write. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall move forward with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.